Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
I'm going to have Larry back up either Sunday or sometime next week to talk about his book. It's available, 28 Years to Nowhere, InfoWarsStore.com, Inspirational Tragedy. It's a great book. You should support Larry. LarryNichols.us, you can get it there, and also support him there, InfoWarsStore.com. We are selling the book, LarryNichols.us. Larry, this is a 5-minute segment. I'm going to give you the floor, let you host right now. Get into the impeachment, how we battle, how we fight back, how important this time is right now in America. I mean, I don't have words to describe how critical things are. So I shut up. I'm going to turn my mic off. You got 4 minutes.
All right, Alex. Well, let me say this. I thought I was out of it. I thought when Hillary was defeated that I was done. Now, all of a sudden, I'm getting information out of the people in Washington, and it turns out, Alex, that they're coming back to me, just like the stuff on Seth Rich, just like the stuff on Schultz. There's a whole bunch of stuff on Schultz that when you know what's going on there, you'll understand, just like Alex was saying, all of this stuff is interconnected. They have got to get rid of Trump, and I mean out. Any other president that's kind of lame, as they call him, they would use it. The Democrats would use it. They want him in because they can use it to defeat everything they hate. They're not doing that with Trump. They're going for blood. They're getting him out of there. And folks, we're the only ones that can stop it. We're the only ones. They can't impeach Trump if the Republicans who have control of the House, if the Republicans stand up. And you and I know, we all know the Republicans are turncoats, they're all traitors. But there's one thing they love more than anything else. One thing they will do anything to keep more than anything else, and that's their job. So I promise you, Alex, next week when I come on, I will have more information into the actual what's going on than you or I want to know. I don't want to know this stuff. So this is the stuff that gets you killed, guys. They're vying for the most powerful country in the world. They will step on people like me. They'll step on, yes, even people as big as Alex and his network has become. They'll crush them because they've got to stop. Alex, there is no way today, the media, if tomorrow everything went back to normal, how can the media go back and be a real news organization? They bet it all. They've thrown it all out on the table. They can't go back. They have no choice. The problem is, guys, we've got to stand up. They've declared all total war. We have got to stand up. We've got to protect Trump. And you start out by using your voice. Your voice. Don't sit down and let these anarchists stand up and scare the bejesus out of the Republican congressmen and conservative speakers. Don't do it. Your voice is the only thing that can save us. Your voice. Trump has got to have us. And I would leave y'all with this one little thing to remember always. If they get rid of Donald Trump, Trump represents us. That's us they're getting rid of. They're saying out loud in front of God and everybody, we have no business involved in our form of government. They're throwing us out if we let them. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be talking about this stuff. Alex, I thought I was done. I'm too sick, too old. I don't want it. But it's here. And people are feeding me stuff, and I can't not do anything. And the problem is the people that feed me information, I can't get them to talk to anybody else because they know me. They're going to impeach Trump in the next 6 months. You say, well, why 6 months? How do you know 6 months? 6 months is the period of time, so that you know, 6 months is the period of time that the politicians, especially the Republicans, believe that if they take steps that we won't like, and don't stand up and block an impeachment, that come next election, we'll have forgotten. That's what they think we are.
That's right. They all, Larry, you're such a genius. It's all about not having a memory. It's all about time frame, and they don't want to push it out too far. They want to get it done soon, and they're really trying, and they admit they're trying. Everything you've said, that they're admitting. So folks better take this serious. Thank you, Larry. Tommy Robinson, right there in Manchester, side of the attack earlier this week, the terror attack, the Islamic attack, will be joining us. We also have Mike Cernovich coming on. Trump team preps war room to defend against Russian probe. That's out of CNN, but what it's actually going to do is get on the offense, because during the live news cycles, they just keep putting out, Sessions got caught with the Russians again. Every week or two, they put that out like it's a new story. Not even true. Or Trump gave away the exact locations of the submarines. Not true, but they just keep putting out these lies over and over and over again. And now Trump is listening to Corsi's advice and others and moving against that in a big way. Trump has asked the Justice Department to investigate Manchester bomb probe. And some of the media acted like Trump's troubled White House. No, this is the media and the globalists that have absolutely been waging war against Trump and the different NSA people that interface with the British government and are the ones that are leaking on every front to try to bring down Trump. Trump is plagued by the leaks. The American people are plagued by the leaks. It's not Trump's fault. And I want to explain something. A minority of our listeners get mad at me and they say, listen, Trump's done some bad things now. Why aren't you the old purist you were? Why aren't you yelling and screaming at him? I'm critical of him when he does things that are wrong. The point is, the whole globalist establishment hates his guts, is lying about him, and is trying to throw him out of office. And if you claim you're anti-establishment, then you should be backing Trump. That is an absolute no-brainer. I'm not in some Trump cult. I want the truth to come out. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is so arrogant. Let's play that clip again. The article's up on Infowars.com.
Member loses the equipment, says they lose the equipment, and it is found by the Capitol Police. It is supposed to be returned.
Here, back it up again.
If ownership has been established.
I'm going to show folks the article. It's on Infowars.com. This is last week. It only gets attention now. She goes in to the Metropolitan Police of D.C., controlled by the Democratic Party. Even though she's out of office and isn't the head of the DNC now, she's involved in the government there over the budgeting. So I guess they can control the Capitol Police and control the D.C. police and control all of it. She's there in his face saying, you need to give us Seth Rich's laptop. That's our property. Well, yeah, but it's part of a murder investigation, sweetheart. And then she goes on to threaten the police chief, you better give it to us. But I saw articles out last week by the Democrats saying the Democrats already have Seth Rich's laptop. There's nothing on it. It's a conspiracy theory. But the truth is they don't have it, and they want it, and they're scared because the word is he was in contact with the DNC. He was heading up their systems, but he was in contact with WikiLeaks and giving them the information. So they are so scared right now. And you can see the palpable fear with her up there to the police chief saying, I'm your boss, I'm over your funding, you will give us that laptop. And her body language is, she doesn't care there's cameras, she doesn't care he's standing up to her. The body language is, she's fighting for her life. Here it is.
The equipment, says they lose the equipment, and it is found by the Capitol Police. It is supposed to be returned.
If ownership has been
Hidden in a wall.
established,
Right.
it'll be returned. If it's subject to an ongoing investigation or additional things
Okay.
that need to be turned over.
But not an ongoing investigation related to the member. If the equipment belongs to the
Hey,
member.
pause. Back it up 5 seconds, and we're going to Cernovich. Think about the magnitude of this. This has reached so preposterous of levels. I'm like Robbie the Robot in Lost in Space when something's so ridiculous. He goes, cannot compute, illogical, and smoke starts coming out his ears. He's saying, well, this is something in an ongoing investigation. This is a top murder mystery. It's an open murder investigation. He was shot multiple times in the back. Nothing was stolen. He hides his laptop in some cranny. He reportedly is the source to WikiLeaks of all the admitted emails that are their criminal activity, rigging the debates, rigging the polls, rigging everything, saying, let's keep people hopeless and in the dark and poor. Oh, let's have, kids delivered to the hot tub. How succulent. Oh, my God, Obama wants $65,000 in succulent hot dogs. Are these as good as the succulent ones we had last week? Oh, yes, they're so succulent. Notice how they changed the subject off them and these evil emails to now, okay, how'd they get them? Oh, it's the Russians. But since it's their own DNC guy, They're all hands on deck freaking out about this. Let's finish the clip.
If the equipment belongs to the member, it has been lost. They say it's been lost and it's been identified as that member's, and the Capitol Police is supposed to return it. Correct?
Well, it's not I can't give a yes or no answer on that because I know
it's a simple yes or no answer.
Well,
if you lose, if a member loses equipment,
yes,
and it is found by the Capitol Police or your staff, and it is identified as that member's equipment, and the member is not associated with any case, and that is their equipment, it is supposed to be returned. Yes or no?
Depends on the circumstances, and if the circumstances.
I don't understand how that's possible. Members' equipment is members' equipment. It is not. Under my understanding, the Capitol Police is not able to confiscate members' equipment when the member is not under investigation. It is their equipment, and it's supposed to be returned.
Well, I think there's extenuating circumstances in this case, and I think that working through my counsel and the necessary personnel, if that in fact is the case, and with the permission of through the investigation, then we'll return the equipment. But until that's accomplished, I can't return the equipment.
I think you're violating the rules when you conduct your business that way, and should expect that there would be consequences.
And I want to be clear, I rarely do this, but I've been so angry that I conflated a bunch of issues. Twitter suspends WMD for linking Donna Brazil to the Cernovich case, trying to get the investigators shut down. They've been fighting over the laptop, whether it's with the police or the FBI not wanting to release it, or saying it's with the family, or saying nothing's on there. This is the brothers, Abid and Idram and Jamal Awan, who were running all these different congressional laptops and tied into the DNC, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and then a laptop shoved into a crevice. And she's threatening them about that, which we were just covering earlier. So they are acting so incredibly suspicious. And now we have this inside intel with Trump from the White House that he's got the proof that Obama was spying not on thousands but hundreds of thousands of people, giving all these Democrats access to it and foreign governments. And now the Awan brothers family has run to Pakistan. That's in the news now. They're suspected of serious violations, including accessing members' computer networks with their knowledge and stealing equipment from Congress. And finally, the D.C. police are saying, no, we're not going along with this. So the man that's always got a lot of the answers, he's hosting the full fourth hour, Mike Cernovich, one of the most important investigative journalists out there alive today, joins us to break all this down. And I apologize. I know we had you set up for one time and then another. So thanks for being flexible, Mike Cernovich.
Oh, yeah, always a pleasure, Alex. We definitely looking forward to hosting tomorrow. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and we found another one of the leakers was a Lindsey Graham legislative aide who specialized in healthcare, and yet somehow she was given the top job at the National Security Council. So your guys have the article. We just broke this story late last night. We call it Lindsey's leaker. And what had happened is numerous veterans, numerous people with national security experience were denied the job to be the legislative affairs chief for the NSC. So here's what she does. She goes and gets all the information from the NSC, runs over to Capitol Hill, gives it to John McCain, gives it to Lindsey Graham, gives it to all the aides and staffers, and then they leak to the media and to the news. So she's another major person under investigation right now. And as you know, as Trump said today at the NATO meeting, the leaks are going to be taken very, very seriously, and she is somebody that people are looking at.
We've got that video coming up at the bottom of the hour of Trump at the NATO meeting today talking about the leakers will be punished. That's coming up. We're going to air that here at Infowars.com. How would you describe the state of the Trump administration right now?
Well, they lost a bunch of the beachhead employees. This was an important story that we broke about how Johnny DeStefano, we actually covered this last week or the week before. I think we called it May Massacre, how all of these Schedule C temporary employees, the people who actually supported Trump, they are all gone. Not all of them, but a bunch of them have lost jobs now. The media is completely covering it up. Me and you, Paul Joseph Watson, a couple other people, we're the only ones actually covering it. So I found out what is happening. Mike Pence is actually involved in this. So I guess I can break that story. I was going to wait till tomorrow to break it. I'm still developing it, but here's what happened. Mike Pence told all the new cabinet chiefs, hey, don't worry about these temporary Trump people. You only have to put up with them for 120 days. After that, you can bring in all your never Trump people. You can bring in all the people who hate Trump. We don't really care. Just don't worry about it. So the conspiracy to sabotage Trump, it's either incompetence or deliberate. And Mike Pence is in on it too.
Mike Cernovich, wow. Again, I've got my wires crossed repeatedly today. When it rains, it pours, because we've changed some stuff around here. That's what you're hosting the 4th hour tomorrow. And then we've got Anthony Cumia hosting the 4th hour today. And I had you at 1:30, and we moved you to 1:08. So again, thank you for being here with us. But the good news is the next month or so, we're going to launch a daily weekday show with you. We're going to launch one with a lot of other folks here. So there'll be a set multi-hour show every day where you're at one time, breaking news with all the guests and all the analysis right here at Infowars.com. Again, when we look at the criminal behavior and just the desperateness of the Democrats and all the bizarre disinfo they're putting out and Trump battling these leaks, my information is it's because they've committed such crimes that they know that if Trump ever actually gets his people in, they're all going to prison. That's what makes them such a formidable enemy, is they have nothing to lose, and we're still acting like, they're just dumb liberals, pat them on the head. You'll never impeach Trump. You'll never remove Trump. He's a Russian agent. Yeah, right. We have to understand, they intend on carrying this out. They intend on burning down a bunch of cities on July 3rd. They intend on trying to assassinate people. They are criminally committed.
Yeah, Sarah Carter actually, too, broke a major story. I sent that also to the great Nico, who's just so on things right now, where the spying scandal involving Obama is so much bigger. You and I, we knew how big it was, but it's now finally filtering into the broader consciousness. Obama, they've been spying on everybody. The Susan Rice unmasking scandal included everybody. That is the real reason Deep State is shook, because if there's an actual investigation, 1/3 of the Deep State people that is in handcuffs. This is the greatest scandal since the Wall Street financial crimes and the bailouts in 2008 and 2009. It's at this level, and that is, of course, why they're covering it up. That is why every national reporter in the world went to Montana. Who cares about some race in Montana, right? But they're all there trying to set people up, putting, recorders in your face, getting in your face, badgering you.
I was about to say, that's what they did to Trump and Lewandowski. He comes in the room, screams at him, puts a camera in his face. He tries to grab the phone. The guy grabs his arm. He throws him to the ground. That guy touched him. That guy assaulted him. You grab somebody's wrist, you're trying to take control of them.
Exactly. That's what they do. That they're setting everybody up now. And it was a total setup to try to swing a race for the Democrats, because they lost all 4 special elections. So what they do now is they send people and they go, hey, man, hey. And they shove it in your face. And sometimes, as you know, it hits you. They have bad breath. They'll breathe in your face and there's spittle coming out of their mouth. These media people, a lot of them are just really bad, poor hygiene. They don't take care of themselves. And
these are the lowest scum of the earth that know they're liars. No, they're not even paid until they get a big story. So they're mercenaries. They're bounty hunters.
Right. And Ben Jacobs was actually a former Democrat operative. And by the way, none of these people, as you know, if you wear a Trump hat in public, somebody might try to murder you. The media never cared about that kind of violence. But suddenly one of them is maybe pushed to the ground a little bit in self-defense. And now it's the #1 story in the world. And, of course, Paul Ryan is saying that he must apologize. And
this Republican, when some guy grabs his arm, throwing him to the ground in his own office, he's worse than the Manchester, 22 dead kids, 50-plus injured. And it doesn't matter that we've got Ariana Grande saying, quote, she hopes her fans effing die. In fact, my quote, I put a video out earlier saying she hopes her fans die. Let's add the effing in there, because they'll say I'm fake news if I don't add the effing. She hopes they effing die. The answer of other Hollywood folks is open the borders up more. What is going on with the terror attack in England?
Yeah, I actually got suspended from Facebook for 12 hours because I posted a quote from Ariana Grande where she said, I hate America, I hate Americans.
So did we.
12 hours.
We got suspended for 12 hours, too, for criticizing her. She's this god. She can say, I hate America, I want to effing kill my fans, I love Islam, and we're not allowed to say, man, that's uncool. Why is she a god?
And I didn't even say that was cool. All I did was quoted her. That was what blew me away. I didn't even make commentary. And it really goes to show how Facebook is conspiring with Hollywood.
Do you want to apologize and agree with her and say that, you hope her fans die? Because they claimed that I said her fans were to blame. I said the globalists and the liberals bringing them in. Why is it the Muslims attack a gay nightclub when the liberals are worshiping Islam? Why is it they attack a bunch of liberal young teenage girls when most of their parents are calling for open borders? I'm not blaming them. I'm saying, why does Islam attack the people that have run the white flag up to it, Mike?
Well, you always want to attack people who are weak, and here's what I've said, Alex, actually, and I've gotten in a lot of trouble with my own readers and viewers because they don't understand where I'm coming from. So I'll be very clear. I'm not saying this is what I want to happen, but I'm telling you as a journalist and a philosopher and an anthropologist that the Muslims, they want Europe more than Europeans want it. Europe belongs to the Muslims now, as far as I can see.
But it does. Why are you in trouble for saying the sky's blue?
Well, a lot of people go, oh, man, Cernovich, you're really trying to impose Sharia. And this happens to you, too. A lot of people think that because we tell the truth about what is happening, that is because we agree with it. But our job as journalists...
I know, that's the mental illness. We say the Muslims are taking over Europe. They're completely arrogant, celebrating the attack on Channel 4, and nobody cares. And then we're like, why are you saying the Muslims are winning? Because they are! It's not magical thinking, dumbasses.
Yeah, whoever wants it more is going to get it.
Yeah, we're getting our freaking asses kicked here. Let's get together and take action.
The Turks want it. The president of Turkey...
Oh, man, the guy's the new Hitler, and they're the basketball player for telling the truth. And then a bunch of Christian Armenians show up to protest, and they beat them up in America. That's how arrogant the Turks are. And then the young Turks celebrate it and go, ooh, look at the Turks kicking ass again. Well, why'd you come here then, sink? If you love Turkey so much, go back there.
And now, of course, they have a NATO thing where Turkey, they stand with them as if they belong with us. And that's why Trump said, we're not going to do Article 5. We're not going to
share intelligence with you if you give it to the Turks. And then they blame Trump when there's leaks about Manchester, when it's the same leakers inside they're leaking on him.
Well, and they want more terrorism, too. That is what a lot of people, even, sophisticated readers who are reading you and listening and everything now, is what they got to understand is George Soros and the deep state, they want more terrorism. They want people afraid because that's how they profit and how they control people.
Let's be clear. You see, Soros thinks you're a coward and a cuck. He thinks if there's bombs, you'll submit to Islam and submit to the left that's going to be the managers of Islam instead of standing up to it. So they love the terror. That's why wasn't this a false flag? It was a real Islamic terror. There's real Islamic terror attacks, but they let him in. They watched him go. They let him come back in. The family had sympathies. It's always the same story. Witnesses saw it, just like San Bernardino, just like everything else did nothing. Is it not a false flag? Is it not a Soros, Democratic Party, leftist false flag?
Well, it was definitely they were the architects of terrorism. That is what the left is.
That's the media proper. That's right. Manchester was a liberal Soros built operation. They're the architects. That's right. They're not the false flaggers.
Exactly. I call the left the architects of terrorism because they're putting.
But they are scum. I'm not even a conservative, what you'd call, but the left are like a bunch of suicidal dumbasses.
I need to find this article. Maybe they can find it while we talk. I tweeted out, Channel 4 News actually did a profile of teenagers from Manchester who went to Libya and became moderate rebels, and they praised them. It was a puff piece. Oh my God! You won't. Let me see if I can find this real quick while you talk, and I'll text it because I couldn't believe this. This is how much their architects.
Did you see the other Channel 4 where it's got a woman wearing the Halloween costume with a hand grenade? And a machine gun around her neck, and she says, "You better not talk bad about us, or we'll get you." And then some other guy goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to apologize." I mean,
yeah, I'm always when I see things like that, though. One thing that I've learned from how the media turned our investigation into pedophilia into all about some pizza parlor is we have to watch out. A lot of those people who are over exaggerating things. A lot of times those are put in by Soros and the media, and then they later say, oh, no, actually, that was just us pretending, There's so much
now. I get it. You're saying they could have put operatives in to claim we false flagged them.
Exactly. So they'll put in an operative, and then when we call attention to it, they'll say, oh, no, actually, that was a false flag. You guys are now making things up. They're trying to set us up. I get a lot of news tips now but people don't know how high level my sources are that are fake, that sound real. And the reason they're doing it is they're trying to send me a story that I do, and then they'll claim it wasn't vetted. So you and I, especially the people who are in the major leagues, we have to be really careful that we aren't being false flagged by a PSYOP that they're running, that they can later use to say, oh yeah, that was just a prank and we made it up so that we can show that they don't properly vet things. It's now the level we're at now, Alex.
No, I agree. I mean, that woman in the burqa, it looks like a prank.
It's like the major league.
But that's what they really say and do. I mean,
exactly, but they won't admit it. They're too smart. They're too shrewd to actually do that. So when I saw that image, I thought I wonder if this is a PSYOP by Deep State, and that they're later going to come out and say, oh no, actually that was a right-winger who false flagged it and everything. Because there's a lot of misinfo. So with people like us, what they're doing now is, because we're basically the New York Yankees now. We're at the highest level. Our margin for error is different. And they're trying to set us up, and that is, again, why the listener support is so important, and going to the InfoWars store. And
supporting you, Cernovich. You're awesome. You're back tomorrow hosting the 4th Hour. God bless you. We'll be back with Tommy Robinson from England. Well, Tommy Robinson, that formed the English Defense League, warning of Islamic takeover, now what the globalists call the most effective anti-Islam movement in Europe, not just the UK, is our guest. But then when it got a little bit too right-wing or race-based, he left that organization. There's extremes on both sides. And he is just such a powerful crusader for truth. He's got the best-selling book, Enemy of the State, that everybody should get at Amazon.com. And he joins us now. I really appreciate him giving us so much time. He's always on the street. He's at a Sikh temple. And the poor Sikh folks that, wear the, turban over their hair, been battling Islam for over 1,000 years. No one's been killed, probably more than the Indian people and the Hindus and the Buddhists, than by Muslims. That's why so many American Indians, I don't mean American Indians, but Indians from India that live in America that I run into are the biggest Donald Trump supporters, because they understand what Islam's done to them. So he's there now. You see these dumb hillbilly KKK types every once in a while that go into a gas station and kill a Sikh, or go into one of their temples and kill a bunch of them. You're the biggest morons on earth. These people have fought Islam more than anybody. Probably such a big part of the British Army in the UK. But Tommy Robinson of TommyRobinson.co.uk, therollmedia.com, he just joined us from Manchester. We'll find out where he is now. But he is all over England covering what's unfolding. We've seen a Channel 4 piece where local Muslims won't even apologize for what happened. They say they have nothing to apologize about. While the woman has hand grenade, shirts on and stuff. Who knows if that's a false flag? But Tommy Robinson, give us the latest, please.
Hi, Alex. I'm in Birmingham in the UK, and just seeing this, there's Sikh organisations across the UK now, their temples are just showing solidarity with Manchester, with what's happening in Manchester. So long, as you just said, hillbilly, so many people don't understand the difference and just what the Sikh community give our country, especially the loyalty and respect they give us. And a lot of the time they're actually targeted as victims, because what you had yesterday, what you had with the Manchester incident, you had a Sikh gentleman who offered free lifts, and he put a picture of himself on it and his car, and he said, I'm giving free lifts to any victims from Manchester. And he said he's Sikh. Now, the Cosmopolitan and the Daily Mirror used his photo, and they said a Muslim offers free lift. It wasn't a Muslim. It wasn't a Muslim. It's Sikh. And they knew he was a Sikh, but they lied. And that a lot of the... If who can? There. Are they? Alex, can you hold this then? Well, I'll do it. Alex, because I've just been asked to say a few words at the temple. He'll hold this and bring you in there, yeah?
Yes, go ahead. Take over. He's going into the temple. Yeah, if you just Google, because I saw the image everywhere, and I thought, that's not a Muslim. That's a Sikh. Or Sikh, or however you pronounce it properly. I know the history. I have trouble pronouncing words, as everybody knows. I have like marbles in my mouth. But yeah, there he is. I was like, that's not a Muslim. I mean, the guy's wearing like a rock and roll T-shirt, and he's got a turban on that bounds his hair. The men aren't supposed to cut it under their Buddhist / Hindu law. And then it's kind of a military order, basically, if you study it, that started a long time ago battling Muslims.
Yeah, that's
why they're so pro-Second Amendment here in the U.S., is because they're all about citizens being armed to battle Muslims. So, okay, here we go. Go ahead, Tommy. We got Tommy Robinson on the ground. This is real, uncensored. Tommy, go ahead. Oh, he's over there talking with some of the locals there at the Sikh temple. Go ahead, Tommy. Whenever you're ready, Tommy, take over.
No, Alex. I'm just waiting now because I'm at this event. I'm just going to say a few words about just what I've got a media platform. If I've got a platform,
no, I understand. We'll just try to get the camera up close to you while you're speaking. Maybe they can kneel down so we get the audio.
Cool. Let me ask one of the lads.
Yeah, with Tommy, you get the real deal, folks. This is uncensored, on the ground. And again, the problem is I don't want to bash my hillbilly brethren, but routinely, every few years, some idiot goes and shoots Sikhs up. They're the biggest enemies of radical Islam there is.
okay.
Over 1.5 million Hindus have been killed by Muslims.
How do I do?
All right, whenever you're ready, Tommy, you can make your statement. Go ahead. It's all right.
Hold on, bro.
That's it. I think that's it. That's it. Yeah.
This is good radio TV, though. This is the real world.
Yeah.
Here we go. And whenever he's ready, we can just get in close and just maybe show some video. The audio isn't good, and I'll keep covering news. Here we go.
What? Do you see what's happening over there? Because they get more shit than we do.
I like to just hear what some of the Sikhs have to say. But again, folks see those big beards and they think, oh, that's Osama bin Laden. So the people go and kill him. Very, very interesting. We'll show you some footage of this while it's ongoing. If the audio gets good with Tommy, we'll go back to it. I have several clips I want to play that illustrate this. But again, the answer is they need to get the camera up closer to Tommy. Probably where that other fella has the larger camera. There you go. And as soon as he's ready to speak, we can get what he has to say. It's not Tommy's fault. I asked him to come on. Yeah, about 2 minutes. We're fine, Tommy. This is good stuff. This is real. This isn't like all scripted CNN or BBC. And this is real people.
Yeah, so when they call me up, I'll just give you this. So this is, and it's an outrage, really, that the Sikh community is so unfairly labelled. Because I've spent years now. Do you know the Sikh community in the UK? When their girls, in the 1980s, this grooming issue, this first started for the Sikhs in the 1980s, when the Muslims were targeting their daughters. And they had to form a nationwide group, or a gang as such, called Sudha Punjab, SP. And that was a gang, so when their daughters were targeted, men from every single temple across this country would unite together to go and find the girls and get the girls back. And there were essentially wars between, and they were ignored by the government, by the councils, they were ignored by everyone. When they're trying to raise this issue, they're raising this issue in the 1980s.
Wow. And again, Tommy, thank you for popping in with us. Go ahead and do your speech. We totally understand. Just ask the camera guy that's nice enough to take over to get as close to you as possible so we can actually hear him speaking.
I'll give it to him. They're just interviewing. It's for the Sikh TV channel. And they're just interviewing the leader of the Sikh Council at the minute.
Ooh, I'd like to hear that. Can we run over there and hear what he has to say? I mean, I'd love to hear you what you like to say as well. But yeah, I've always thought it's fascinating how the Sikhs, don't they have the longest running continual battle with the Muslims?
In history, yeah. In history. And you know what? They've formed their own organisations across the UK. Sikh Awareness Society, Sikh Youth. All these groups that are going around, they've made films trying to educate their community to the dangers and the threats of grooming, of extremism, of everything that is, all the problems that Islam's bringing to our country. Other minority groups are having to form defences for themselves.
By the way, I was reading, too, in the UK, but also in the US, the Sikhs have one of the lowest crime rates of any ethnic group and are not associated with any violence.
Let me just, let me work this out. 1 second.
In live feed from the Sikh temple, ladies and gentlemen. Tommy Robinson is our guest. While he's getting ready, I want to play you a few of these clips here. And by the way, this is not a train wreck on here. I love this. This is real. This is happening. This isn't scripted. This is why people tune in masse. Not to get all the packaged crap from Fox News with its ratings going in the toilet as they try to kick Hannity off and kicked everybody else off. It's just incredible. Got Megan Kelly's producer here today. So let's talk to her in about 15 minutes. What a circus. But, you know, I can't just keep denying these interviews. Tommy, you're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So all these videos, Alex, I think when it come up, it said rebel.com, didn't it? I think it's the rebel.b for any of the videos of all the live things that are going on. But I'm still waiting. Just waiting for them to finish.
Well, Tommy, we've got to, I'm all about the Rebel. I want them to get great attention. I want you to do a regular slot. You can plug the Rebel all day. They're great folks. But I want you to do a regular slot with us at your house. We'll send you a great microphone, great equipment, so that you can, like, regularly come on and give us your analysis from England. And, of course, work with Watson as well. I know Watson likes your work.
I'm happy to, Alex, because, you know, like, every day, like, even just tomorrow, every single day, what we're going to be doing is going in. I'll give you a breakdown of everything we've done, all the different videos we're working on. There's so much happening. And I just only wish I thought of picking up a microphone and getting a camera to highlight all these issues 8 years ago.
Would you say the Sikh are one of the key groups to break the liberal brainwashing that it's racist to not like radical Islam because some Muslims happen to have brown skin? When the Sikhs genetically, you could say, are very close to the same people, but they have, you know, good cultures and are happy people.
Yeah, look, I can't speak, especially for people to understand. Like, we're welcoming, especially as a British community, we're welcoming them. When we get a community like the Sikh community who come here, work so hard, so loyal, so faithful, such warriors as well. I think just a little stat, I think India's like 4% Sikh, and they represent 60% of the Indian military. They're fighters, they're warriors, and they've had to form a defence in this country since the 1980s when they first tried to highlight the issues which were happening to their women. And there's one gentleman who you should speak to, Alex. I'll introduce you to him. Yeah. He's such a, and he leads a group, and they spend time. Some of the girls, yeah, some of the girls that have been targeted. They move them to Canada, to America, to get them away from the Muslim gangs. That's what they're having to do.
And to expand on that, I haven't done a history lesson in a while. Didn't they get founded because of Islamic oppression and murder and become militaristic, something Indians don't normally do? I mean, isn't there original order coming out of that? Yes,
they're founded as a form of defence against Islam. And you couldn't meet a more peaceful, integrated. I mean, like many Sikhs are probably more British than many other people that are British, because they're so they're so proud. But then even because of their pride and their honour in their community, then they're targeted for that. So if I tell you some of the stories, because I've been to these conferences, I've been to these temples across the country, hearing when they're teaching, trying to stop these things. What they do is, because the Muslim men will wear a Sikh bangle to pretend that they're Sikhs. They'll then get a girl, and then they'll get footage of the girl. They'll hide cameras. They'll get into a relationship, pretending they're Sikh. They'll get into a relationship, and once they've got that footage, they'll then tell the girl, we've got this footage, and because of the honour within the community, we'll put the footage on all your websites, on all your community websites. So then the girl is trapped. The girl's trapped, and then the girl becomes a slave. And these are the lengths they're going to. In fact, in my own hometown, you can get the leaflet. You'll be able to look this leaflet up. They handed out leaflets telling the Muslim community, telling them to target the Sikh girls. Target them. And this is how you can get them. And all the weak spots of what the Sikh community would have, how they could get them. And over the years, I said, even when I was leading the EDL, when there was attacks against a Sikh school by young white kids who were shouting EDL. And even back then, we had a relationship where I'll go down and talk to the kids. And when I'm talking to the kids saying, what's going on, what's this about? They're saying they burnt our poppies, they abused our troops. It's like, you couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more wrong. But that shouldn't be left to us to educate the British public on the great work the Sikh community do, or how they've integrated. That should be the BBC's job. But of course, as we know, they don't do that. So it is left to us, and that's why I said any platform I've got, I want people to understand, because I'm whoever be fascinated. I've just so respectful of the Sikh community.
Tommy Robinson, I know you got to go speak in a minute. Pop off anytime you have to and go do that. But Ariana Grande, we now learn, said she hopes her fans effing die. We also have all these other big pop stars saying, open the borders up, bring more Muslims in. What do you make of this arrogance of these people?
They're the problem. They are the problem. And I keep saying, in fact, being organised now, I know there's a big rally organised now. It's going to be on Sunday the 11th. Just that they're working on it now, which have people from every background, from the Sikh community, from, I think I'll be talking there, in Manchester. But these people who, everything that's happening, when you see what's happening, bring more, open our borders. If we had a Donald Trump style ban, we'd have had that ban. This man would not have been able to fly to Libya to come back, to get his weapons training.
Exactly. Why did the police and government let him go to Libya? That we now learn the family was reportedly supportive of this, has all these ties. Why?
I believe he's been to Libya, Syria and Germany, all in the last month. And yet he's able to fly back into our country. And when we talk about what people say, how wasn't he watched? The problem we've got is there's so many. There's up to 4,000 who are on 24-hour day, 7-day a week watch. Now that 4,000, to monitor each man, it's 3 groups of 9 men, 27 men a day. That's how much we're paying. That's how much it's costing us. 27 men a day to monitor 1 man, and there's 4,000. So obviously that's in our country. I believe in Belgium there's up to 20,000. If you look at the problems in France, I believe even the police force had to get rid of 20 people for their links to Islamic radical groups. The police force in Paris. So this is embedded into our country, and all these people wanting more and wanting more. And I think this is me on now, mate. So one second.
All right, go ahead and go up there. This is Tommy Robinson in the UK. A Sikh event. And I haven't even gotten to the clips of Muslims in Manchester saying we have nothing to be ashamed of. You know, don't blame us for what somebody else does, but there's not even comments about we're sorry for the victims.
I'll pick it up.
Is this an innate? And I don't want to sit here and bash Muslims all day. I want them to reform themselves, but they're being used by the globalists to attack. We'll go back to Tommy later. Let me go ahead and play one of these clips since I mentioned it. This is a clip of the mayor, Minneapolis mayor, gives official state speech in mosque, blasts the president of the United States, agenda of oppression. He's in Saudi Arabia saying, please quit killing us. We'll do business with you. We want to work with you. And then elements of that very same group attack Manchester. And the answer we're given is roll over to this. So here is the clip of the mayor.
Cities like Minneapolis and the people who live in them are squarely in Donald Trump's sights. His agendas of oppression and regression and suppression have no place in Minneapolis, and we are standing firm in our resistance to them. When Donald Trump comes after any part of our community, he'll find 419,000 Minneapolitans and me standing squarely in his way. That's the kind of wall I can support.
Mayor, we'd love to ask you a couple of questions. Yeah, let me go ahead. Okay. We're going to have a free country. I can walk where I want. We told you, man. No, we asked, and she's refusing to answer. Mayor, why'd you hold this in a mosque? Would you do it in a church? Thank you. It's great to be here. Clearly made a statement holding this in a mosque. As many on the progressive left say, make hay about separation of church and state. Why a mosque, and would you do it in a church?
I'm giving it a mosque today because our Muslim community gave support. I said what I had to say about speech.
Conflict with separation of church and state, or mosque and state?
No.
No. Would you give an official state speech in a church from a pulpit?
I have given official speeches in churches before.
Like the state of a city?
I don't know that I've given the state of the city in a church before. Our Muslim community needs a lot of support right now because one community should not be held responsible for the reprehensible acts of a few members of that community.
But you didn't call out the community of Muslims to make sure they're rooting out, drive them out, the radicals that may be in their midst.
You do a good job of that, Pete. I gotta go.
Of course, you mentioned Donald Trump. He gave a speech in Saudi Arabia. It was well received. We had a chance to talk to the mayor briefly, although she's got.
So again, the Muslims need extra support because one of their members just blew up a bunch of people. See, that's how this whole thing works. And you understand that the Democrats are suing and using the IRS against Christians everywhere for being politically involved. But they can be politically involved. It's total evil. Folks at the Sikh temple that they're at there in England were coming over saying, oh, we're watching you, Tommy, right now live. Yeah, we're watching on our phones. So he's waiting to go up and speak to the group of folks that were basically founded in India over 1,000 years ago to fight the Islamic invasions that have happened. We're almost out of time, Tommy. I know you're about to speak. Closing comments, though, just about the response we've seen so far, what Donald Trump has said. Any other points?
Just talk as loud as you can, because it's obviously...
Since I just talked to him, he's already going up there live. So this is quite a live circus. Maybe we can pan around with that camera and give folks some shots of this. This is what's going on in England right now. Again, real unfiltered footage of what's unfolding. We might talk to Tommy in about 5 minutes when they're done doing this TV interview, but we'll come right back after this. Let me go to one more clip here. There's actually several of these from the folks there on Channel 4 in the UK. One of the women comes out and says, you know, if you don't quit being Islamophobic, there's going to be counterattacks to that. There's another gentleman, though, before her Tommy's talking to us again. Let's go back and see what he's saying. Go ahead, Tommy. What?
What he said. What?
Go ahead, Tommy. What? Oh, here he goes. You going to go speak? Go ahead. Yeah, follow him over and do it. I tell you, I love these amateur camera folks. It's fun. Yeah, just go over to where they're at. You got to love TV and radio like this. But listen, you don't get the really good stuff unless you do this. This is how you get the really raw, amazing stuff. But let me go to this clip here. Dealing with the mayor has already said, give in to all this, go along with the poor Muslims. Here's some clips from Channel 4 in Manchester yesterday. Go ahead.
You're shaking your head. Why?
I disagree completely. My message is to the Muslim community today. Muslims are the ones who are the collateral damage of this kind of attack. I don't think the Muslim community can do any more than they're already doing. This is nothing that we have to be apologetic for. We have done nothing wrong. Individuals are responsible for their own actions. My message is that...
Back that back up. Muslims are the ones that are suffering from this attack. How about the 22 girls that are dead and the 50 plus that were bombed, many of which lost arms and legs and eyeballs? Oh, but you watch these Muslims with the whole liberal social justice warrior mutation, and it's like they're so entitled and so pissed that, oh, you just took us in from Libya, or you just took us in from Iraq, or you just took us in from Saudi Arabia that won't take any refugees, and now you're not doing everything perfectly, and now you're mad at us that we blew some more people up. How dare you? When that goes on every day in their countries. So again, take responsibility for what you've done. Stop projecting on us. Let's go back to the clip. Here it is.
You're shaking your head. Why?
I disagree completely. My message is to the Muslim community today. Muslims are the ones who are the collateral damage of this kind of attack. I don't think the Muslim community can do any more than they're already doing. This is nothing that we have to be apologetic for. We have done nothing wrong. Individuals are responsible for their own actions. My message is that be proud of who you are as a Muslim. It's a gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon you. It's a mercy from him.
All right, let's stop right there. You can tell that guy's a preacher. Notice he says, my message to Muslims is, he doesn't talk to profane. He'll talk to this useful idiot reporter here, but he's like, we didn't do anything wrong, and we're the victims of all this, and you get used to it. Then they cut to a lady in a jib with an image of a hand grenade and a machine gun around her neck. And she says, listen, you stop being Islamophobic or there's going to be counterstrikes. I'm going to come back and play a little bit more of this ahead of Anthony Cumia joining us. Wow, what a stressful time to be alive. But, thank God we're alive and taking action. We're running Memorial Day specials. Two of the items, colloidal silver and knockout, are the biggest specials we've ever had. 67% off on colloidal silver. Usually our special is 20%, 30%, sometimes half. 67%. Sign up for auto ship. That's a loss leader. That's 70+% off. Colloidal silver. Infowarsstore.com. Infowarslife.com. Fourth hour coming up. Please spread the word.